Welcome back to lesson 3 of RE with me. We are looking at the pillars of Islam, and this is the third pillar, Zakah. This pillar is all about looking after other people, so it's very important. Each Muslim gives up a share of his wealth each year to provide for those less fortunate. That is actually a serious commitment, isn't it? And I think something incredibly admirable there, that is one of the actual pillars of Islam, one of the things that upholds Islam, built into the belief system of Islam, is looking after other people. I wonder what would happen if we all had that attitude. The word zakah means to purify or cleanse. As a person gives away a share of their wealth, they become cleansed from selfishness and greed. I think if we think about the world, if we think about people in the world, one of our biggest motivating factors is selfishness and greed. If we sort of look at our attitudes and boil them down to their rawest bones, quite often we are motivated by self-interest and greed, whether we like to admit it or not. So if Muslims believe that this giving purifies them from greed, it's actually a really important thing. So giving to charity or being charitable to others is a very important part of being a Muslim. There are many parts of the Quran that talks about it. Apart from the Quran, there's also the hadiths, which are sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. When we talk about the Prophet Muhammad, we should say peace be upon him because he is so revered in Islam. And there are other religious texts as well that Muslims look to, and they all talk about giving. Many Muslims give donations of money to different charities around the world. The money they give goes to help people less fortunate than themselves, such as people in war zones or those who don't have enough to eat or drink, a bit like what we tried to do at Harvest. The Quran teaches Muslims to give 2.5% of everything they own to those that need it. Now, before we stagger back and think 2.5% of everything I own, as if that was a really tall order, let's just think about it. If we have £100, how much is 2.5% of £100? Percent means out of 100, doesn't it? So if it's 2.5%, it's only going to be £2.50. So if everyone who had £100 gave away £2.50, how many pounds would they have left to spend on themselves? It would be £97.50, wouldn't it? Which is such a lot of money on ourselves compared with how much is being given away. And yet I wonder if everyone in the world did that. I wonder, would there be any poor people left? It's a challenge, isn't it? Muslims believe that everything belongs to God, so it is wrong to keep too much money or too many things if other people have very little. Muslims therefore give a portion of their income to charity, which depends on how much they have and what they can afford, although 2.5% is regarded as the minimum. So if I was really rich, then I would give more away. And if I had hardly anything, I would give the minimum away. That seems quite fair, doesn't it? So have a little think now. Have you personally ever given to charity? Talk to your partner about it. Another question for you. Do you think it is important to give to charity? And why? And how could this affect the whole community? I'm not going to give you the answers to that. I just want you to have a think about it. Okay, discuss it with people around you. If you need to pause the video to have more discussion time, then please do. Muslims also believe that they can be charitable in other ways, such as giving up time to help someone, giving food to those that are hungry, and encouraging others to do good. So it doesn't just have to be money, giving can take many forms. Another question for you to consider, can you think of other religions where charity is important? Tell your partner. Okay, let's think about giving food. Some Muslims leave packets of food, such as pasta and rice, in special collection boxes. That sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it? It sounds like what we were trying to do at Harvest. This is another form of charity that helps the poorer people living in the community. Muslims believe they are all one family. I'm hoping that you can throw your mind back for this one. What is the name of the worldwide family of Muslims? The worldwide kind of brotherhood of believers, what are they called? Giving clothing. Other Muslims give clothes and shoes. These are also left at special collection points. This is another form of charity that goes to help people who are less fortunate. And that's something that people who aren't Muslims can do as well, can't we? We can give to charity shops, or there are lots of other clothes donation banks. But Muslims will give in all these forms. Now, in the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, teachings, it says, there is a man who gives charity and he conceals it so much that his left hand does not know what his right hand spends. That's in a hadith. So think about that. Let me read it one more time. There is a man who gives charity and he conceals it, he hides it so much that his left hand does not know what his right hand spends. So think, do you think that this means Muslims should show off about being generous or keep their kindness a secret? What attitude should they have about their giving? Talk to someone with you about that. In fact, Muslims help each other as a way of worshipping Allah. So it's not just a rule that they're trying to tick a box, live by a rule. They're actually worshipping Allah by doing this. The Quran says, be generous in prayer and regular in giving, for God sees well all that you do. Maybe that is one reason why Muslims wouldn't boast about their giving. They don't let their left hand know what their right hand is doing, because they know that Allah sees what they're doing, so they don't have to boast about it, because the only person they're trying to impress or worship or show devotion to is Allah. And showing love to other people is just a form of them showing love to Allah. Okay, now we kind of whizzed through that, so you might want to go back and have a little think about it. Because what we're going to do now is some writing. You have a sheet in your pack or emailed to you, which just has a phrase at the top which says the surah that we do, generous in prayer, regular in giving, for God sees well all that you do. It has these pictures around the edge. It also says, explain how Muslims give and how this shows devotion to Allah. So you can use the pictures as prompts to help you remember how Muslims give, in what ways do they give, and why do they give. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at these pictures. If you're at school, you can pause the video and rally Robin with someone what these pictures refer to. But just as a brief recap before you do, and especially for those at home, let's talk through them. So The first one, there's a wallet, there's a question of percentage and money. What is the percentage that Muslims are required to give, at least, if not more? You've got it, 2.5%. We've got a picture there of a lady and a child who look like they're very hungry, and a picture of the world there. What does that tell us? What does that remind us of? That's right. So Muslims give money to people in other parts of the world who are suffering, who do not have enough to eat. Maybe they're caught up in war. And it's a worldwide thing for them. It is not just something that they do for the people around them. They think about the whole community of Muslims around the world. Can anyone remember what that community is called? That's right. It's the Ummah. Okay, now we've got a picture of a Quran. So I'm wondering, can you remember, why have we got a picture of the Quran there? It is to remind us that in the Quran and other religious writings for Muslims, the hadith, the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and other sayings as well, they all talk about giving. It is something that is written about so much in Islam. Okay, so let's have a look at what the picture on the bottom left. That looks like people standing in line for food who don't have enough food, which will tell us that Muslims give away food as well. And not only food, but if people don't have money to give, what else can they give away? They can give away their time, and they can encourage other people to give as well, which is, in a sense, a form of giving. So we've got a picture of a donations box there too, donations of clothes. So again, Muslims can give away clothes as well as a part of their giving. Now that spooky picture of an eye, what does that represent? I can almost hear Owen shouting out the answer, even though I'm not even there in the school. And I'm sure he is saying that eye is there because Muslims believe that Allah sees everything that we do. He sees the things that the Muslims give, so they don't need to boast about it because Allah sees all. So all of their giving is part of their devotion to Allah. Okay, so now that we've recapped it, please have a go at writing this on your sheet and use as much information as you can. You can always go back and have a look at the PowerPoint at any time.